Hello and welcome to the new episode of Space Defense and Security Podcast. So, we have previously recorded a podcast with our current guest, but unfortunately, due to the technical issues, we are re recording these episodes and there will be some new additions now. We have made it like a two-part episode now. So, the topic of the today's episode is Behind the Escalation China's 2027 to 2035 War Blueprint, Taiwan Stakes, and the Indo Pakistan Flashpoint. So today to take a deep dive into this topic, with have with us Lieutenant Colonel JS Sodhi. Hello, sir. Welcome to the podcast.
Jai Hind Omkarji. It is my
Jai
honor
Hind.
to be on your esteemed channel.
Absolutely, it's an honor to have you as well, sir, on the podcast. So I believe a lot of people in the industry know about you, and I would also like to mention that our today's guest is also one of the prominent researchers in the conflict-related studies, especially focus related to India as well. So as we dive into the topic, he will be, of course, unfolding a lot of nuggets and the kind of theories that he has as well, which prominently is very well connected to a broader spectrum of China as well. So, I'm very much keen on exploring all these dynamics of the conflict today. So, I would like to ask you, despite mounting evidence and repeated attacks like recent Fulgam incident, Pakistan continues to deny harboring terrorists. So, how do you think this denial persists, and what strategic advantages does it serve for Pakistan?
Well, in 1971, when India defeated Pakistan in the 71 war, and as a result of which Pakistan was split into two nations, thereby the emergence of Bangladesh as a new nation, the Pakistani top leadership was extremely rattled. This thing happened in the month of December 91. The next month, on 24 January 1972, there was a Multan conference held in the city of Multan in Pakistan, which was presided by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who was then the Prime Minister of Pakistan. In this Multan conference, three important decisions were taken for the future of Pakistan. One, Pakistan will have nuclear weapons. Two, in the times ahead, Pakistan will wage a war for Jammu and Kashmir. And three, Pakistan will support terrorism in India with the aim to spread instability. And this doctrine was named as Bleeding India with Thousand Cuts. This doctrine of bleeding India with thousand cuts was formalized in 1977 when General Ziaul Haq, the then army chief of the Pakistan Army, seized power and became the president of Pakistan. This military doctrine of bleeding India with thousand cuts is till date taught in the Pakistan Military Academy and the Pakistani Staff College to the officers of the Pakistan military, which is in Quetta. Now, this doctrine was put to use for the first time in the end of 1970s when Pakistan supported terrorism in the Indian state of Punjab. In Punjab in India, terrorism was alive for about 15 years before it was finally crushed. Then in end of 1989, Pakistan started supporting terrorism in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. And since then, it has been over 36 years, terrorism is still alive in Jammu and Kashmir in India. So, what Pakistan basically did was it had realized that it would not be possible for it to defeat India one to one in a conventional war. Hence, it started supporting terrorism. Now, the present standoff that we are seeing, the conflict that we are seeing between India and Pakistan, its immediate route was the 22nd April Pahalgam terrorist attack. Now, Pahalgam is a beautiful tourist city in Jammu and Kashmir in India. And on 22nd April, four Pakistani trained and armed terrorists carried out the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, massacring 26 people based on their religious profiling. As a consequence of this, India launched Operation Sindoor, which was launched for 25 minutes from 1:05 a.m. on 7th of May to 1:30 a.m. the same day. Well, ideally, Pakistan should not have retaliated, But then, knowing what Pakistan is, it started retaliating. And it has been 3 days now where there's a constant skirmish between the Indian military and the Pakistan military, where every kind of weapon is being used, including fighter aircraft. But what is important is, till date, despite more than 72 hours of the military standoff between both the nations, no contact fighting has been done between between the two armies till now. By contact fighting, I mean where the soldiers fight with each other face to face. So, till
Yes.
now, the operations by both the nation militaries have been non contact, where fighter aircrafts have been used, where drones have been used, where loitering munition has been used. So, this is where we stand today. And in today's morning press briefing by the Government of India, it was clearly brought out that the last night's attacks by Pakistan were primarily aimed at the military institutions of the Indian armed forces.
Yes, sir.
Now, one point I would like to add, please. Now, what we are seeing is terrorism sponsored by Pakistan. However, this terrorism is part of a larger strategy of Pakistan. Now, this is very important.
Yes.
I will just take 2 more minutes to explain this.
Absolutely.
Well, Pakistan wants to keep terrorism alive in Jammu and Kashmir till 2035. Because in 2035, Pakistan and China will wage the two front war on India, wherein Pakistan will make the first move, will attack India for Jammu and Kashmir, and it will then be supported by China, who will attack India for Arunachal Pradesh. So, the pretext that Pakistan will use to attack India in 2035 will be because there was instability in Jammu and Kashmir, hence I have attacked. Now, 2 months back on 17 March this year, General Upendra Dwivedi, the Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army, said in a statement that a two front war for India is no longer a possibility, it's a reality. Unquote. Last year, on 4th February 2024, the Director of National Intelligence of America published their annual Threat Assessment Report 2024, in which it has been clearly written that the way Pakistan, China, and India have their tensions increasing amongst them, they are inching towards a war. Unquote. So clearly, the war of the two front war between China, Pakistan, and India, like the army chief said, is now a reality. And all the timelines in public domain point to 2035. Now, why 2035 also assumes a significance that despite the growing escalation between India and Pakistan, it is unlikely that any contact war will be waged during this standoff, primarily because China will not want to get involved in a military conflict right now. For China's first and foremost military aim is to annex Taiwan, which it will attack Taiwan in 2027. On 3rd February 2023, William Burns, the director of the
Yes.
Central Intelligence Agency of USA, said in a statement that China will attack Taiwan in 2027. So till China doesn't attack Taiwan, it will not like to get involved in any war whatsoever, directly or indirectly. We have seen even in the Russia-Ukraine war, even in the Israel-Hamas war, China has stayed away officially from both the wars because its first and foremost military aim is Taiwan, which it is supposed to attack in 2027. So it is unlikely that it will firstly allow Pakistan to have a contact operations with India, and secondly, will it join Pakistan in case such a thing ever happens, whose chances of a contact operation are minuscule as of now.
Uh, I'd like to, add this layer because I'm coming to the point of 2035 once we cover, a certain part of the current stage of the conflicts. I mean, right now when we are recording this episode and previously as well, I think India also retaliated towards the, I would say, the kind of attacks that Pakistan has been doing since the kind of front has been open. So, how critical is it for India to maintain a sustained active approach rather than the active reactive retaliation? And also, just to add on this, when we look at Pakistan's internal situation like political instability, economic collapse, how does this crisis reflect the bigger long term threat to regional stability? I mean, we when we right now when we are recording this podcast, just few hours ago, we saw that they also got a loan approval from IMF, and India was trying to block it, because of course the funds that they are getting, and they have been getting it for quite a long now, for decades. That money has been pumped into erecting the terrorism institutions. So, what are your thoughts on this overall?
Well, coming to the first part of your question, you see this Operation Sindoor, which was launched by India on 7th May and is an ongoing operation, is
Yes.
very distinct from the earlier surgical strikes which were launched by India, two of which are in the public domain. Before that, any surgical strike launched by India is not in public domain. The two surgical strikes in public domain are the Uri surgical strike of 2016 and the Balakot surgical strike of 2019. Now, these two surgical strikes were conducted in Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir on one target each. But Operation Sindoor was conducted on nine locations, five in Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir and four in main Pakistan. For the first time after the 71 war, was main Pakistan targeted by India. So this actually rattled Pakistan, who was never expecting India to make such a bold move. Also unique about the Operation Sindoor was that the weapons used ensured that our forces, our air force, did not cross the line of control or the international border. Everything was fired at these nine targets, well within the Indian airspace and on the Indian soil. And another very important aspect of this Operation Sindoor was that the heart of the terrorist training camps were targeted. You know, Bhavalpur, which was one of the nine targets, was a main training center of Jaish-e Mohammed, and uh, Murid K, which was also part of the nine, was the main training center of Lashkar-e-Taiba. So this time the Indian military targeted the training camps of the dreaded organizations. So this actually quite unnerved Pakistan. Now the government of India, soon after Operation Sindhu, said this is an ongoing operation. This means clearly there has been a big shift in the Indian mindset and mentality than what existed earlier. Well, before Operation Sindoor was launched, whenever a surgical strike would be launched, it would end the same day. Little bit counter reaction from Pakistan, that was the final of that particular surgical strike. But this time it didn't happen. This time there's a continuous retaliation by India, thereby signifying that what India is doing is probably on the lines of what Israel does with either Gaza Strip or the West Bank. Like Israel doesn't wait for any action to react. This time too,
Yes.
the Indians are now acting on their own rather than reacting. So there's a big shift in the mindset and mentality of India, where now we are on the active mode, not on the reactive mode. Now, coming to the second part of your question about Pakistan getting the IMF loan. Well, Pakistan is the only country in the world which enjoys support from all the three superpowers, America, Russia, and China. That is the reason, despite all the hubla boo of Pakistan being a terror state, Pakistan not entitled to a dollar of the IMF, yet Pakistan walks away very happily with the IMF loan. This is because
Yes.
internally the three superpowers support Pakistan, and I would like to take a few seconds to explain this. Firstly, as far as America is concerned, come what may, it can never go against Pakistan. There's a very good book by the name of No Exit from Pakistan by Daniel Markey. I would request your viewers to read the book whenever they have time. It very fantastically brings out that though America hates Pakistan internally, but they have no choice to support Pakistan. And there have been numerous reasons given. About Russia, after the US President Barack Obama announced the Pivot to Asia policy on 11th December 2011, wherein the bulk of the American military deployed in the Middle East was shifted to the Indo Pacific to counter the rising threat of China, Russia started gravitating towards Pakistan, and the relation between Russia and Pakistan started getting deeper. The third superpower, China, we all know how close the Chinese and the Pakistani relationship is, which needs no further emphasis. So, Pakistan getting the 25th tranche of the IMF loan is actually no surprise for those who research and read. So, I wasn't pretty surprised because I knew the way these three superpowers are with Pakistan, it will get the loan. So, this is the complex, geopolitics of South Asia, where on the face of it, America says it is against terrorism, but internally it supports Pakistan, who by now is the world epicenter of terrorism.
Mentioning that, I was really looking forward, to this kind of analysis, because I think no one has mentioned in this direct manner that this three countries are actually directly supporting. Of course, there are statements which are coming out, like Japan, Germany, US, everyone has approved and India has abstained in the IMF for regarding this loan. But I mean, this is the reason, as you mentioned. I hope the viewers are satisfied with these answers. To get a kind of a little more, I would say, a broader perspective, given your military experience especially, what concrete steps should India and its allies take diplomatically, economically, and militarily to not just respond to terrorism, but to dismantle the larger infrastructure that sustains it inside Pakistan?
Well, as far as India is concerned, India has taken adequate measures in the last 78 years that Pakistan was created and India became independent. We've taken a lot of economic measures, diplomatic measures. We have gone to war four times with Pakistan, though all the four wars were initially waged by Pakistan, and India retaliated and eventually won. But the fact is, nothing of this is working in Pakistan. Pakistan,
Yes.
despite being broken into two nations in 71, still persists with operations against India, either covertly or overtly. Now we have to understand why is this so. Pakistan as a nation has a foundation on two basic policies and intent. One is anti-India and the other is anti-Hindu religion. So come what may, the basic mindset and mentality of Pakistan can never change. It will always remain anti-India, it will always remain anti-Hindu religion. You see, the
Yes.
recent statement of General Asim Munir, the Pakistani army chief, on 16th April this year, when he addressed the overseas Pakistanis, he clearly spelt out the two nation theory propounded earlier and how Islam and Hindu religion are totally different. So this should put to rest, those speculations in some people who believe that Pakistan is a peace-loving country. It can have relations, good relation with India. Well, I can assure your viewers, it can never have. So how? So what should we do now? One is we have to accept, which I think the present government of India has accepted, that there can be no peace with Pakistan till it supports terror. And this policy was espoused not post Pahalgam terror incident. It has been espoused much earlier in the very first tenure of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who said that talks and terror with Pakistan cannot go on. So this change has come in the last one decade of the present ruling dispensation being in power. So what has to be done is, apart from this, we have to strengthen our military more and more.
Yes.
And we also have now, like I explained earlier, we are now on the active mode, not on the reactive mode. So, definitely, a lot of concrete steps have been taken by the present government of India. More will be taken as time comes, be it small for some people, but in my view, they're very big steps like banning of the Pakistani panelists on Indian television shows, banning any kind of trade with
Yes.
Pakistan, expelling the Pakistani national who was staying in India. So these are very big steps taken as a whole nation of approach towards Pakistan. You see, Pakistan is like a poisonous snake. Like to save a human's life, a poisonous snake has to be killed. Similarly, for the safety and security of India, the poisonous nation called Pakistan has to be killed because its birth has been based on anti India and anti Hindu religion policies and plans. So there is no option now but to crush Pakistan militarily. And we have exactly 1 decade to crush Pakistan militarily. whose action has
Yes.
started in right earnest in the last 3 days. The way the Indian military is now targeting the military installation of Pakistan, definitely a very crisp and clear message is going to Pakistan: no more now. So I think India is now on right track, and like I said, we have 1 decade, so we'll see a lot of things happening in the next 1 decade.
Absolutely, sir. I think we are going to come to that point of 2035 now. So, as we are wrapping up with the part one of the episode, so I request the viewers to basically first listen to this episode and then move to the part two of the episode, because we are going to take a deep dive into the 2035 plan, a strategic plan of China, of how they are going to basically open a two front attack on India, and what India potentially can do, having, being successfully scaled at this level. India is about to, gain its crown as a superpower, not only in terms of economy, but also in the terms of technology and what kind of gaps we observe. We'll be discussing this in the part two of the episode. So, thank you very much.